Hey guys, this is Ray with DRP Motorsports and welcome back to the shop. And today we've got Mr. Mitch's 21 Shelby GT500 strapped down to the chassis dyno. And he brought us this car to install a 3.8 liter Whipple Supercharger. And there you go guys, sitting on the car ready to go. He also had us to install 4 Innovations triple fuel pump fuel system and some Injector Dynamics 1300X fuel injectors, and a newer thermostat to run a little bit cooler, and some heavy duty axle half shafts in the rear, because he does plan on taking his car to the drag strip to see what kind of numbers it'll do. We've been tuning it on a chassis dyno. This is a work in progress, and right now we are still on pump gasoline. We wanted to see what this setup would do on pump gasoline safely, and we've got, for reference, we've got a GripTech 3.125 pulley on this supercharger, and with this setup it makes a little over 20 pounds of boost. You can't see it, but this car still has the factory stock cast shorty header, manifold, whatever you want to call it. Not long tube headers, guys. This car does not have long tube headers. Long tube headers probably would make a difference at this power level, but for simplicity, the customer wanted to keep the factory exhaust manifolds on there, and that's what we did. Now, we've been tuning it on the chassis dyno like I mentioned a while ago, and I want to show you what we ended up with. And as reference, guys, always remember when you're looking at dyno numbers, let me go ahead and change this back. All right. Usually you'll run a correction factor just so that the weather is not a factor for repeatability on the dyno when you're trying to figure out whether, you know, things that you've changed makes a difference or not. So usually you'll run a correction factor, and typically the most conservative correction factor is SAE. Some people will show you that in their dyno number. Some people will run standard correction factor, which actually will show a more liberal expression of power and torque. There you see right there, SAE numbers 883, 733 foot-pounds of torque. This thing's a monster, and that's on pump gas, guys. I mean, we're still running 93 octane in the tank that this car came to us with. Customer had filled it up with 93 octane from the pump, no differences whatsoever. I'll show you what it did uncorrected, just to play around with the correction factors to show you what differences that makes. Uncorrected would be what the car actually made with the present, well, at the weather conditions at that particular time the dyno pool was made. So uncorrected made 896, 743. Now let's, just for the fun of it, go ahead and put it on standard, which is the one everybody likes to use so oftentimes to make the numbers look really good. So go ahead and change this over to standard. And there you go. Standard numbers 906, 752. So we're right around the 900 wheel horsepower mark with this setup. And guys, if you just figure a very conservative 10 to 12% drivetrain loss, that means this car, this engine, is making 1,000 horsepower at the crankshaft on pump gasoline. Guys, you can't beat that. I mean, just go down to your favorite gasoline station, convenience store, fill up on 93 octane, drive this car anywhere you want to go all day long. No worries on fuel, no worries on ethanol blends whatsoever, and still making 1,000 horsepower at the crankshaft. I mean, I'm impressed, guys. It makes me wish I still had my GT500, which I did sell a while back, but that's incredible. And no knock, I will tell you that I have looked at the data logs up and down, and on these GT500s you actually look at the cylinder knock at the cylinder level, and there was not a hint of knock on any of the cylinders, any of the dyno pools. Running a very conservative time in advance, of course, for pump gasoline, but ultra safe. IETs are very good. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed with this supercharger setup. It is a vast difference efficiency-wise versus the factory supercharger. So next step is going to be switching this car over to E85 and making some big boy numbers. The customer wanted to see north of 1,000 horsepower, and I don't think that's going to be a problem. So we'll get switched out to E85, make some dyno pulls, make some tuning changes, maybe even go with even smaller pulley and see what that does. But anyways, guys, stay tuned. Thank you for following along. God bless each and every one of you, and we will see you again soon.